How do you avoid going bankrupt in your Amazon business? In this video today, I'm going to share with you how I manage cash flow within my business to maximize spend and to make sure also as well that I'm not going bankrupt. I'm going to share with you my secret sheet, which you can also get as well. Stay tuned. Right, if you don't know who I am, my name is Thomas Parkinson. I've been selling on Amazon now, doing online arbitrage for the last 5 years. Now I'm a 7-figure Amazon seller, and in the UK, I'm selling there, and I've done that for 5 years, and in the USA, I'm also selling there as well. Now, if you're interested in learning how I've done it and what I'm learning on my journey, do make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. That's going to notify you when I release more videos. But hey, enough about me. What are we going to go through today? So first things first, I'm going to talk about what is cash flow. Number 2, I'm going to talk about the benefits of properly managing your cash flow. Number 3, I'm going to talk about what you should consider when managing your cash flow. Number 4, I'm going to talk about how to manage your cash flow in your Amazon business, and I'll give you a live screen share with that sheet that I use that you too can get as well. Maybe a link down below. I will note there is a charge for it because we spent a long time developing it, but obviously it will help you maximize your business. Let's get started. So first things first, what is cash flow? Well, cash flow is basically the total amount of cash being transferred into and out of your business. Now, cash received represents inflow, while money being spent represents outflow. Now, quite simply, cash flow refers to the movements of money entering and going out of your business, typically from operations, investing, and financing. Now, in our business, Amazon businesses, your cash inflows are really going to be your sales, or technically your disbursements from Amazon. Now, the outflows are going to be your expenses, such as stock purchasing, staff, and tools, for example. But generally, stock's going to be the biggest proportion of that. Now, if you don't balance your inflow and your outflow, then you might come into a negative cash flow situation whereby your business hasn't got enough money coming in to pay its bills. And what that can do, well, that can cause you to go bankrupt because you cannot pay your bills in time because you don't have enough money coming in. But if you manage your cash flow correctly, then what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that you've always got the right amount of money to pay your bills, but also as well, you know exactly how much money you can spend on your stock and investing in it. If you do it right, you're going to keep buying lots of stock and you're going to maximize the amount of cash you're investing into stock at all time. Do it wrong, then you're probably going to have a lot of money sat in the bank and you're wasting money sat in the bank, which could be out there making you more money and profit in stock and reselling it. So something to think about, and always your goal is to make sure that you're managing your cash flow correctly within your business to maximize your investments whilst being able to pay your bills. Now, the question you might be asking is, but how can your Amazon business benefit from managing cash flow? Let's go through it now. Let me share with you straight away 3 benefits your Amazon business can get if you are managing your cash flow correctly. Number 1, wise investing. Now, what I want to do, quite simply, is put a really quick example for you. Let's say, for example, right now we started off with $1,000, £1,000, doesn't really matter. And let's say, for example, we work at 30% ROI. Now, let's say, for example, we have bills of £100. So we know in a typical month that we've got $1,000 or £1,000 to invest, and we've got £100 we've got to pay out. So at the end of the month, we should have £900 left. Now, what we know is once we understand that £900, we can invest it. Now, in a good cash flowing business, you're going to understand this calculation and you're going to know that you can spend £900 in that month and still cover your bills. And obviously, that's going to mean that you're investing the most amount of cash. Now, if we talk about $900 at a 30% ROI, you're going to be pretty much turning around kind of just shy of $300. Put it like 270, I think it is, top of my head. But what if you hadn't done your cash flow situation and you got the $1,000 to start with, and you don't really know how much your expenditures are, so you think they're about 100 but maybe a lot short, so you're going to call it 200, and then you maybe want a bit of a buffer because you're a bit unsure, and you might say, hey, I'm only going to spend 500 because I haven't properly done my calculations. Now you're only going to invest 500 into the stock, and again at 30% cash flow, you're really not going to be turning around as much money. You're really going to be looking about probably 150 return on that. Just by managing your cash flow correctly is going to give you awareness, clarity of how much money you need to pay off your bills, but also as well how much you have free to invest and obviously turn your ROI. The more money you can invest, the more profit you're going to make, and just by having that clarity through your cash flow is going to tell you whether you should be investing 900 this month or maybe 500 because you haven't got clarity. And what's the difference? Well, quite simply, it could mean the difference in doubling the amount of profits you make, not because you've doubled ROI, not because you've doubled the amount of cash, just because you've doubled the amount you've invested wisely and because you've managed your cash flow correctly. Now, the second one I'll say for you is it saves you from future expenses. Now, what do I mean by this? Now, think of this as one of the things that Amazon sellers might not see. Some say that as long as they can pay their bills on their Amazon business, their business is going to keep going, and that's fine. But what they might not understand is they might be killing their business. So what do I mean by that? Well, in your cash flow, you've got your Amazon, your business, your categories, you've got the inflow of money and the outflow of money. But let's say, for example, that money, that outflow is going out your business. You're buying things like, you're purchasing your bills and other stuff. That's something really important that you've got to account for. Now, the rule in managing your cash flow is that your outflow, should not be bigger than your inflow. And let's be crystal clear, our stock is an investment. It isn't outflow or cost of goods. So when you're managing your your inflow and your outflow, what you can see is I really understand my cost every single week and every single month. And I understand how much money is coming in from my disbursement, but I understand how much profit I generated in that. And obviously, if you can understand I've got $1,000 coming in profit and I've got $500 going out of costs, I'm pretty much netting out £500. It can help you understand where your business is at and make sure you've got enough money to obviously keep going. So it's going to help you do a mini P&L within the cash flow as well, which is super helpful. Now, the third and the final one, which is really important about managing cash flow, is preparing for the unexpected, having a safety buffer. Now, one of the best things I get about managing my cash flow is that we are maximizing the amount of money we're investing every single week whilst paying our bills, but also as well, we have a safety buffer, and that's a defined amount we put into our sheet, and it allows us to weather any storm, be ready, and we can change that safety buffer every week if we wanted to, or maybe when trading needs to be changed, we can play with it. But it allows our business to operate. It also allows me to sleep well, knowing I have money in the bank for unexpected circumstances should it happen. And that's something really important. Okay, so today I'm talking about cash flow, and the question I want to ask is, how are you guys managing your cash flow? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm really interested in that. How are you managing your cash flow? So before I jump onto my actual screen and my computer and show you the cash flow sheet, let me first just show you what are the factors you need to consider when managing your cash flow. Let's go through that now. So before you start to properly manage your cash flow in your Amazon business, it's important to know your inflows, the money coming in, and also the money coming out and the outflows, and more importantly, the time when that's happening. And by considering this, it's going to help you budget the right amount of cash and the spend accordingly, and also make sure your bills are paid on time and you've got the money there to pay those bills, and also that's going to stop you from going bankrupt. So what do we need to consider? First things first, money in. Amazon disbursement, that's the big amount of money we always get. Now, quite simply, the Amazon disbursement is how much money Amazon is going to pay you, and generally Amazon are going to disperse this naturally every 14 days or every 2 weeks, but we do it manually every 7 days, and I'll talk through that through the sheet as well. Now, the second one you want to think about is your credit cards. Now, if you are using credit cards to purchase stock, then also this is a big consideration. Why? Because your credit cards have obviously got debt and you've got to pay that off, but also as well, they actually give you available cash. So technically they form part of your inflow as well and your available spend. So it can kind of be both, something you've got to consider. Now also, this gets a bit more complex when you have things like credit cards and charge cards. Be mindful of that, and the sheet helps you with that as well. Now, when you are talking about credit cards and what they happen, you should always know when you need to pay these bills and how much that bill needs to be. Charge cards, for example, you pay the full amount. Credit cards, you can pay a minimum or the full amount, up to you. There's no right or wrong. It's up to you what you want to do. So make sure you know them as well. Okay, so today I'm talking about cash flow within your business. Now, the one thing which I will say is get your cash flow right. You're going to grow your business. If you've been following my journey, I did a journey to 1 million. We understood that if we manage our cash flow correctly, we could turn our stock more, and that the net result is also we make more money. What happened? Well, I said myself 1 million in 18 months. We did it in 12. And then the next 3 months after that, we did another 1 million. Why? Because the systems we built absolutely blew the business. Now, that was incredible, and this cash flow is part of it. Now, the one thing I'll say is once you start managing cash flow right, it's going to be really powerful. What do you need? You're going to get a lot more cash, which is great, but you're probably going to need more deals. Now, if you want more deals, do check out Fast Track FBA Leads. This is a service I created, and we've recently gone through a change whereby you can access every single deal that my sources are finding. Now, this is for both the UK and the USA, and you can literally go through, have a look at them all. We hide the ASIN, we hide the Amazon product, and you can buy tokens from us. When you're ready and you like a deal, you exchange the tokens, you unlock the product, see the Amazon ASINs, and supply your URL is really game changing because no one else does it, and you get access to my 2 7-figure Amazon sourcing teams, which just means you're going to literally level up so fast. Now, quite simply, we limit the UK to 5 2-day competitors plus us, and the USA, we limit them to 10 competitors plus us. Just be mindful we are sharing them and we're buying them ourselves, but I don't think there's another deal service out there which is doing it. Check it out, have a look at the link down below, Fast Track FBA online deals. Now, this leads me nicely onto my 4th chapter, how to manage your Amazon business and the cash flow within that business. So in my Amazon business, I use my cash flow management sheet. We use this all the time, like all my team use it all the time. And I've developed and built this from that £1 million journey over the last couple of years, and we've refined it over the years as well. So it helps me manage my credit card and my charge card expenses. It plans my cash flow for the next 14 days based off the disbursement, and it gives me a very good guide of what expenses are coming up and what I need to pay, my limits, and it gives me the buffer as well. And it's going to really support me. So what I want to do now is I want to jump on the computer and I want to show this to you and to give you a walkthrough of the cash flow sheet, the management sheet, and how I use it within my business. And obviously, if you all want it, again, there is a link down below. You can have a look at it. So let's jump on the computer right now. Okay, so here we are right now onto the Amazon cash flow sheet or Fast Track FBA cash flow sheet. Now, the one thing I should say, we've got a lot of information at the top, but there is right here a link to a YouTube video that you can watch where I talk through it again. So if you're too interested, you can kind of refer back to that. Top tip for you, you've got some of these yellow boxes. That is what you are looking to change. Only change stuff in the yellow boxes, the rest of it is formulaic. Now, the other one, which we do, is I use this sheet pretty much every Monday. So I'm going to go into Amazon Seller Central and I'm going to manually disperse. And then what we're going to do is literally record all the detail in here. Now, the one thing we understand is, let's say, for example, right now in my Amazon business, I have, let's call it £10,000 in Amazon. And I click manually disperse. What we understand is that you don't get all that money straight away. You're probably going to get about half of it now, and then the other half will come next week. Now, what we say is we want to reduce down how much we're going to estimate we'll get next week. So we're trying to play it a bit safe. So let's say, for example, I have 10,000 right now, and let's say, for example, I'm going to cash out now and I get 5,000, and then basically I should have 5,000 left, for example. Next week, I'm going to reduce that 5,000 by a certain amount, which is how much? Well, right here, I put 25%. So I'm going to reduce that 5,000 down by 25%, and my sheet is going to tell me that I'm only going to get 5,000 minus 25%, which then is going to give me a bit of a buffer. Hopefully I'll get more than that, fantastic. I'm going to have more cash than I thought next week, cool, I can spend more. But if I don't, then it's going to protect me from making a bad decision, and also I can pay my bills. So again, this is like a reduction. It kind of talks about it here, it tells you. So what else have we got here? Well, quite simply, we have step 1. Now this is about, should we say, understanding where all your money is right now. So what do we do? Well, not only do I go through my Amazon disbursement, so I'm going to write here, so Amazon, I'll go into Amazon right now and I'll look at how much money. When I go to the disbursement page, I'll say like, oh, I've got 10,000, fantastic. And when I click disperse, it's probably about 10 minutes later, I'm getting an email through, here's how much money is coming out. And I'm going to put that amount here. So, 10,000 I had in the account, 6,792 has been dispersed. And then obviously whatever's left, I should get next week minus my allowance we talked about earlier. So I will do that for all my, if you're doing Pan-Europe or short Pan-Europe EFN, you can do it for your European bank accounts there, put it in and we'll convert that for you. So put in the total balances and the disbursement first of all. Now I'll do that first thing on the Monday. Now once I've done that, and this is all part of the Monday by the way, I'm then going to go through all my bank accounts. So I might have say like a Santander business bank account, I might have a TransferWise, I might even have money in PayPal. So I'm just going to record all the money in there, and really I'm going to record what's the total available cash. So it could be my cash in the bank plus the overdraft. Like we have an overdraft in my Santander, so we will actually include that in that. And really we're looking at available cash. So what we're trying to do is collect all the available cash and all the available debt, and we're going to work out the difference. So then I have my credit cards. So my Santander cashback credit card, and here we've got the limit, 5,000, and then I'm going to just record how much debt I've got on it. So don't have to put it minus, just put the debt, the sheet knows it. It's 4,511, fantastic. So I've got that much debt on the credit card. Then I'm going to go to my charge cards. So again, charge cards don't have a limit, but they do have an amount. So I'm going to put it here, 4,359, because I want to make sure that I'm recording that amount. So sorry, £7,345, get that right. And then finally, if I've got any supplier accounts, maybe I've got like wholesalers or suppliers who give me credit terms. I need to record that as well. So I'm going to write that down on there. So this is just going to collect all the information in, you write it down in the yellow boxes, you've got all the accounts, it reminds you, and you're just going to take a snapshot. Literally Monday morning, first thing I do, disperse Amazon, record all the money down. Let's scroll down. So then we move over to what are the future costs we've got to pay. Now I'm going to start over on this right-hand side. So right here, this is a reminder of big costs. So quite simply, I'm going to put every month, I'm just going to write down all the costs I have to pay, maybe get your bank statement, go through all your costs, and I'm going to write it down there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down roughly how much it is. And it might change every month, so I can update it as we go through. I'm just going to write down what are those costs every month. And then what I'm going to do is write down the day of the month. So call it like day 1, day 8, not the date, because the date could change, but it's like the day of the month. Call it like day 27, day 22. I'm going to record the day of the month in there. That's super important. And that's going to be just like a record to say, hey, every time I get a new expense, or maybe I sign up for a new tool, I'll come into the sheet, record that. Fantastic. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to think about, right, this week. So this week is what's going on. So first things first, what are my expenditures? So I always put a safety buffer in. So I want to have a safety buffer of £1,000. That's going to protect my business. Number 2, I'm going to look over here into these costs, and I go, right, okay, so today is the 12th. So coming up to the 12th, or this week begins the 12th, I've got the 16th. That's going to be a cost. I need to put my payroll in. So I'll probably put the payroll over here. And I would just kind of like delete these out and replace them with whatever costs are coming in. So I can literally copy it from my big reminder over into the expenditures this week. And I'll do exactly the same thing for what's coming up, expenditures next week. So call them like, if right now I'm saying, I've got the costs, so my little costs coming in, I've got some VAT, Amex, I might have a VAT bill due, every now and then I've got to put them in. So really I'm putting in the bills for this week and the bills for next week. And I can use my big reminder to help me understand. Now, once I put them in, what it's going to tell me down here, should we say the cash available. So it shows me out of all of my cash here, how much of the available cash I've got, credit cards and everything. Then it's going to show me the credit available as well. So credit there, sorry. And then also it's got cash incoming from Amazon. Voila, we can see it here. Absolutely fantastic. And then it's going to give me also my total available spend for the week, because it's going to add all that up. Now that's just going to give me an idea. So I know all my costs for the week. I know my available cash and credit and what's coming in. So I know what I can spend. And I know what also the costs are for next week. So really simple. And down here we have a little cash flow planner. It's not perfect, but what it does is it just basically puts the Monday's figures in, and it kind of gives you a highlight where you've got costs coming in. So you can see here on Friday the 16th, according to my planner, day of the month 16th, I've got 1,000. So it just highlights in orange there to say, hey, you've got a cost coming out 1,000. That's going to help you understand what's coming in. Next week, I've got no bills. But if I were to come into here and let's say, for example, this 3,124, I would change to the 17th. What you're going to notice is that now pops up on the 17th. So it just helps you out managing it and add the days. And this is all dynamic, so it changes automatically. You don't need to touch it. Again, everything in yellow is what you're looking at. So once we've done what the future costs are, we now know where our money is and what our future costs are. Now what we need to do is to calculate the maximum safe spend. So what do we mean? Well, we've looked at the debit card, the credit card debt, we've looked at the available credit as well. We've looked at estimated funds available, so all credit cards, money we've got. We've looked at the income coming in, and we've looked at what's coming out. So the inflows, the outflows, very important. Now, quite simply, we have what's known as the net difference here. Now, you might say, let's go spend the net difference. But we need to be careful, because we're going to have some bills next week. And if you know anything about Amazon disbursements, if I disperse on a Monday, it might not come to my account till Wednesday, maybe even Thursday. So I need to make sure that I can cover some of the bills, and I don't want to put myself in a risky situation. So what it does is it tells you the net difference here, but it says calculated max spend for the week. And it says a nice little arrow, make this as large as possible. So let's say, for example, I put 12,759, absolutely fantastic. But you'll probably just notice down here, this goes red. Why? Because if this is red, you don't have enough money to pay the bills next week. Why? Because next week I'm going to come in, I'm going to disperse on the Monday, but the money isn't actually going to hit my bank until the Wednesday, and I might have some bills on the Monday or Tuesday next week that need paying, and I'll see as a result, I'm not going to be able to pay them. So my cash flow is going to cause a problem, and potentially I could go bankrupt. So what do I want to do? I want to tweak this figure here in the nice yellow box. Remember, I want to get that as high as possible without this going red. So let's call it 10,000. Fantastic, I've done that. Now, what you might notice, I can say, oh, can I put a bit more in, 10,500? Yep, we're happy there. And then finally, once I've put 11,000 in, we're going to go red. So we're probably going to say, let's call it 10,500. That's a good figure. So there we go. 10,500 is maximum calculated safe spend without anything going red. And this is talking about next week. So it's going to help you understand how your cash flows can be affected for next week as well. Really helps that. And then finally, we do the step 4, take actions. So quite simply, This is just going to be a copy of the information you've got up here. It tells you what you need to pay this week or what's coming out. Now, this little section here is going to just share with you what you need to know. So quite simply, I share with my purchasing managers every week. It's like maximum safe spend for the week, 10,500. And do not spend more than this before Thursday, i.e. because we're waiting for the money to come out on Amazon. So they can spend up to nearly 6,000 up to Thursday, and then the Amazon disbursement will come in, and then we can spend up to 10,500. Absolutely fantastic. And that's it. The sheet tells you how to manage it, what to do. Do that every single Monday. Trust me, it's going to change your business and maximize what you're able to spend. Now, again, what I'm going to say is I'll drop a link down below to that cash flow management sheet. Do check it out. Do get it. It's going to be game changing. And trust me, you're maximizing the profit. It means, or maximizing the spend, it means you get more profit. We did that calculation earlier. Now, what I will say is managing your cash flow is vital to upgrading your Amazon business. But did you know that you can earn $1,000, £1,000 extra more from getting cash back? Well, that's completely game changing. So what I'll do is I'll leave a video around here called my ultimate cashback guide. Check that out, and that's going to really help you live a great life and earn more money in your business. Now, what I will say is hopefully you've liked this video. If you have, give me a thumbs up. And hey, if you want to see more, hit the subscribe button down below. Both myself, Thomas Parkinson, and Fast Track FBA. Thank you very much.